This is a generational heist for the Los Angeles Lakers as a shocking new report has dropped revealing some wild details surrounding Rob Pelinka and his master plan. We're going to break down exactly what that is and discuss how following the Nuggets tearing everything down, the Lakers are primed for a huge move. We're going to break all that down in this episode as well as discuss multiple Lakers updates ahead of the matchup tonight where Luka Doncic returns to Dallas. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your support has been unbelievable as we're on the road to 18,000 subscribers. That is right around the corner. So if you want to help us towards that goal and you're enjoying the daily content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, a ton to go over today. And it all starts with the man you saw in the intro video there, Nikola Jokic. We have some updates surrounding Anthony Davis, of course, ahead of tonight's game. But I want to focus on a couple of things here. Now, you can see this right here, and I gave you some, tidbits in the article there. The Lakers are favorites to be Nikola Jokic's next team per Bovada official. The Lakers are a plus 500, which is actually pretty good odds, a lot higher than we thought. We'll dive into why in a minute. And then, of course, a couple teams that aren't in the NBA, followed by the Toronto Raptors, the Clippers, and the Warriors. So this is very interesting. The Lakers, assuming, or if Nikola Jokic, I should say, not assuming, if Nikola Jokic gets traded, the Lakers are the favorites for Nikola Jokic. Now, there's a bunch of different reasons why this is the case, but it's a pretty big development here. And obviously, this all stemmed from yesterday when the Nuggets fired Mike Malone. Of course, they fired the general manager as well, and they put it kind of into a full retool mode, teardown mode as it pertains to at least the coaching staff ahead of the playoffs, which is a good sign for the Lakers anyway, because the Lakers, as it pertains at least to the coaching staff, for the first time in a while, are very stable, it seems, with JJ Redick. Whether you like him or not as a coach, he's going to be the coach for the future of this team. And for the Nuggets, whether or not they decide to keep Nikola Jokic, you'd have to assume, he's the best player in the world, arguably. They're probably going to go ahead and keep him no matter what they do with their GM, no matter what they do with their coach. But at the end of the day, in a world where players are traded like crazy, we saw Luka Doncic get traded from the Dallas Mavericks. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility for the Nuggets to trade Nikola Jokic, especially whether it be this offseason, next offseason, depending on how things go, depending on if he is happy or not in Denver. And that's going to be the biggest thing. If they come out and they have a horrible postseason run this year, you could see a world. I don't think Nikola Jokic is the type of player to request a trade. Maybe the Denver Nuggets front office wants to go in a different direction. And if that's the case, the Lakers are primed at plus 500 to land him. And it would be a generational heist, landing both Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic in the span of 2 or 3 years. You can see this here from this article. Though the NBA regular season is almost over and has been filled with jaw-dropping surprises, the Denver Nuggets decided to drop one of the biggest surprises we've seen in a while. Since probably the Luka Doncic trade. They announced Tuesday they fire Mike Malone and Calvin Booth. Of course, the Nuggets are getting ready for a playoff run, but that may not sit well with superstar Nikola Jokic. He's not one to serve drama, and it's difficult to see a scenario where he pushed ownership to make this move. And I tend to agree with this. I don't think they're going to trade Jokic right now or anytime necessarily super soon, but the fact that the Lakers are betting odd favorites, pairing Luka Doncic with Nikola Jokic makes some sense. There's mutual respect there. Team-wise, it makes sense. We're going to dive into a trade now, which could also make some sense because just from an asset point of view, I think the Lakers have a very good shot at, if it came to a bidding war, depending on what the Nuggets want, you wouldn't assume they're going to go in a full teardown, retool mode. The Nuggets would receive Austin Reaves, Hachimura, Dalton, Knecht, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first and a first-round pick swap. The Lakers receive Nikola Jokic. I think if you're the Lakers, and this is from FanDuel, I think if you're the Lakers, you do this in a heartbeat, right? I don't think this is something that's would even be necessarily considered. The worry would be, you're giving up Austin Reaves, who's younger and things like that. But if you're the Nuggets, you'd have to assume that you'd learn from the mistake the Dallas Mavericks made with Luka Doncic, and that if you're going to trade Nikola Jokic, who was arguably more valuable than Luka, but really, you could probably also argue that Luka was more valuable at the time. You probably don't want a 5 first-round picks. In a world where Mikal Bridges is getting you 5 first-round picks with swaps, you probably want multiple first-round picks rather than just a pick and a swap. You are getting Dalton Knecht. You are getting Austin Reaves, Austin Reaves is one of the more, valuable players in the NBA because of his contract, right? His contract's an absolute steal. He's putting up 20 points per game. He's in the conversation for most improved players. And you're also trading him to a division rival. So do I think it's likely that this specific trade goes down? I would presume that they want more. But at the end of the day, we've seen, given the Luka Doncic trade, you can't rule anything out at this point, especially given the fact that Luka Doncic is traded for, of course, AD, Max Christie, and a first. Nikola Jokic, Austin Reaves has a ton of value, especially if he continues to play well. And again, we're right before the playoffs. But the fact that this came out now, it's very interesting, especially given the fact that Mike Malone was fired there just yesterday. So things are getting a little bit crazy now, especially with the NBA in general. It wasn't just Mike Malone. Other coaches are getting fired. Things are going, Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies got fired. They're also in a playoff spot. So let me know down below, A, would you do this trade right here? And B, what do you think the odds are of the Lakers landing Nikola Jokic from the FanDuel, projected trade? And the odds are in their Lakers' favor if they decide to move on. The Nuggets, that is, from the Los Angeles Lakers. And I don't think this trade would get it done necessarily, but it's an interesting point. But a couple other things. Let's dive into some of the updates ahead of tonight's game. It's going to be an interesting one because Anthony Davis is playing. Luka Doncic presumably is going to be playing, and they're, of course, heading back to Dallas. So it's going to be the first time for Luka returning to Dallas, especially with a healthy Dallas Mavericks team, minus Kyrie Irving, but healthy in the sense of Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis is probable, and he's set to play his 50th game of the season. And obviously, storylines aside, this is a massive game for the Los Angeles Lakers. They lost yesterday. They need to come out and win today. I mean, odds are they're still going to, maintain that 3 seed, but in order to actually do that, they need to win, like JJ Redick said, 2 of the last 4 games, which now is 2 of the last 3 games. And there's 3 games left in the year, today, Saturday, and Sunday. So you can see this here, or today, Friday, and Sunday. In his time with Dallas, Davis started to look very good. And that's a little bit scary, a bit of a scary matchup. You look at the Dallas Mavericks injury report, the Lakers injury report at the moment. Hasn't fully came out yet, but for tonight's the updated report, that is. But they're gonna have Anthony Davis. Dante Exum, who's missed a ton of time, is presumably going to be coming back, and of course a lot of their other guys, Maximus Prosper, Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving. Having Oliver Maximus Prosper isn't necessarily a huge deal. Him missing, but Kyrie Irving, of course, is still out. But Exum and Anthony Davis both seemingly on the cusp of a return tonight, or specifically Exum, but Anthony Davis is probable as well. And you look at the standings here. There's 3 games left, including tonight, and they hold on to that 3 seed. They are 48-31. They are a game ahead of the Clippers. They are a game ahead of course, the Denver Nuggets. But at the same time, I think there is a good chance that they take care of business here. They need to win 2 of these games in order to really avoid the play-in spot. You look at it's absurd. The 3 seed is 48-31, and then the 7 seed in the play-in spot is 47-32. Of course, there's tiebreakers to keep in mind. There's a bunch of different things. They can essentially guarantee themselves a 3 seed lock-in with a win tonight, and then, of course, some other things happening. So it's going to be interesting there. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. These standings at this juncture are extremely close, the closest we've seen in a while. The 1 and 2 seed are locked in. The Lakers need to try to hold on to that 3 seed, so then you avoid, of course, the Oklahoma City pathway in the playoffs, at least the early pathway before the Western Conference Finals. So big game tonight. They're coming off of one of the worst games, of the year for them. They looked completely, they didn't look great. They didn't look great at all, and hopefully they can bounce back following the loss against OKC. They did take care of business against OKC in the first time. The loss the second time. It is what it is, but they are playing for a win. Like JJ Redick said, he wants to win all of them. Hopefully they can take care of business tonight and secure themselves a more favorable seed ahead of the playoffs, which is just a week or 2 away. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that, and of course the trade as well. Things are picking up. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news, and hopefully the Lakers can take care of business tonight.